Hey everyone, welcome to episode 277, The Cycle of Chores. Welcome to the Harmony in the Home podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Hutchison. I'm a counselor, a life coach, and most importantly, an imperfect mom doing this work right along with you. And my goal on our podcast is to go from chaos to calm, feel less frazzled, and have more fun within your four walls to have more harmony in your home. Hey everyone, I want to talk to you today about getting stuff done around the house, because I know that to have more harmony in your home, which is the goal, is that when you have less stuff and you have less to manage and you have less stress in the home, then you're less likely to be easier to be set off or be so on edge. And they always say your outer landscape matches your inner landscape. And I'm like, ooh, snap. That's going to be a problem if you look at my house sometimes. Sometimes, yes, it's great, and sometimes not. So the more that you're clear thinking, actually for me, it's not so much a measurement of my thinking. For me, I think clearer when the house is tidier. Not tidy like friends are coming over, like a model home, but just, again, it's different comfort levels for different people. And Dave and I live in the same home and we have different comfort levels. So it's kind of like I know his comfort levels and they're very different than mine. His are much more less clutter and I'm like okay with it. So it used to cause a lot of conflict in our marriage because he was like model home kind of life and would do the work to do it. And then I was more like, we just had a sleepover with 10 kids. So I've met in the middle. He's chilled out and I've kind of like straightened up a little bit, but it's been very hard and I've had to make a very conscious choice. It's not easy. So if you're the one that is the cleaner one of the group, just have compassion for people like me and the family, because it's not natural. We're not doing it to be rude. We're not doing it to be selfish. We're not doing it to be mean. We're not doing it because we don't love you. I literally it just doesn't come natural. It's not my DNA. I don't, and I'm not making excuses because I do make the effort, but it's so hard. So I've shared every possible thing that I've been able to do to make it a little bit easier in my life to hopefully help you in your life. And then for me, I wanted to learn the tips and tricks and all the little routines, so to speak, so I could help the kids. So it would be part of their life. Because I don't feel like I was really taught that growing up. But my parents did it naturally, but they never like taught it to me, if that makes sense. And my room was upstairs and they never really looked at my room. And my room was always looked like a bomb went off, like always, always, always and forever. And they didn't care because it was upstairs and their room was downstairs. So why does it bother them? They had bigger fish to fry, like me sneaking out of my second floor room. So something that really helped me kind of like, cause I was like shooting for A+. And if it can't be an A+, then it might as well be a D-. Like, what's the difference? I was like an all or nothing when it comes to the house. And then Mel Robbins started talking about the cycle of, I think she was talking about the cycle of laundry. And I was like, you know what? Everything is in a cycle. And that's why we feel so overwhelmed, because we're trying to get to the end of the cycle and it's one big circle. So that's kind of silly to try to get to an end of a circle when it just keeps looping and looping and looping and looping. So when you think about chores or like doing laundry, let's say, so doing laundry, there's a cycle. It goes in the hamper, then from the hamper goes to the washer, then the washer goes to the dryer, then the dryer goes to the chair, then the chair gets sorted, then from the chair goes to the people, and then the people have put it away. And then by the time that's done, guess what? There's already laundry in the hamper, and rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And that's why we feel like we're on this never ending cycle of this treadmill of life we can't keep up on, is because it is a never ending cycle. And that there's nothing wrong with it being on a never ending cycle. It's just allowing it to be that way, because then we're not trying to always get to the finish line, because there is no finish line. That was so relieving to me, because I was trying to like get to the finish line and there is no way to get to the finish line, because by the time you have gotten through that cycle, and let's say I put my clothes away the day that I got them back in my pile, there's already laundry back in the hamper. Now I do laundry every single day, so I see that cycle up close and personal. You people are like, you're freaking crazy. But for me, doing laundry every day makes it more manageable, because the piles are so little, and then the kids put it away easier because it's so little for them to put away. And we always add towels and blankets and stuff like that. So we're doing full loads, but it's so manageable to do it every day versus letting it pile up. For me, that works better. Some people like to do it on once a week. I'm just saying, give the everyday laundry a try and have a cycle. And I have a routine, and then plug yourself and plug your family into that routine. it just like all system go, much easier. So I asked, what is on a cycle that you have to give attention to every day and maintenance, so to speak? Because I was thinking, I try to get 10,000 steps every single day. And it's very hard for me if I'm not doing my regular routine, or if I'm out of town, or if I'm traveling, or if I'm just off the routine, especially over summer. Very, very difficult. So I would get the 10,000 steps. Like it'd be like 9 o'clock at night and I'd have 9,822. So I'm like literally walking around the room just to get it to 10K. I'm like, this is so silly, but it just made me feel a sense of accomplishment and that sense of dopamine, so to speak. So then I get 10K and I was like, yay, go me. And then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock at night. And in 2 hours, this is going to reset to 0. And I have to do it all over again and again and again and again. And it just literally never stops. And like, oh my goodness, this is just like laundry. It's just a rotation. It's a cycle. So I asked on Facebook, what is something that's in a cycle that needs daily maintenance? And I love Kira's answer. She says, literally everything. The better question is, who can name something that truly maintains itself like on autopilot forever? I'd love to know what it is and how much it costs. And isn't that true? And so when you think about your chores on a cycle and on a rotation, on a loop, on a, let's say a Ferris wheel, so to speak, then you're not feeling like you can get off your treadmill of just that exhaustion and hop on the Ferris wheel, so to speak, and realize like, oh, everything's in a cycle. So Denise says, cars, maintaining your cars, oil changes, tire pressure, getting gas, charging it. Barbara says marriage and relationships. Yes, you always have to make deposits. Relationships, Michelle says, fitness, I said. Tina says herself, maintaining yourself, just brushing your teeth. And it's like rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Steffi says self-care, which is every day. Katie says cooking healthy meals, sourdough, continued education, fitness, mindfulness, meditation practice, self-care. Susan says paying bills. Cheryl says nutrition and exercise. Remember to be grateful and maintaining kindness and compassion. Yes, because if you're doing that on today, then guess what? Tomorrow you got to go do it again tomorrow. And that's that Ferris wheel versus a treadmill. Stephanie says kids, and I'm like, oh my goodness, amen, preach to the choir. Yes, because that's what this whole podcast is about, is like the attention and the energy that they need. It's so worth it, and it's so hard. And it's only hard if you're doing a really good job. So just know that. It's supposed to be hard. Charity says weeding. Yes, David and my sister, for some reason, are always weeding. I'm like, how are you weeding again? He's like, there's lots of weeds. And he's pulling weeds like in between the pavers. Devin says laundry and kitchen counters. That's for sure. Christine says groceries. Denise says a needy husband. I didn't even see that one, I don't think. Lauren says my mental health. Casey says pets, especially keeping up with my German Shepherd's constant shedding. It's seriously a full-time job and the hair is endless. Oh my goodness. Both my kids are allergic, have high allergies to animals. So we have 2 dogs that have actual hair. And so they need like grooming and they need to like go to the barber and stuff. And so they do not shed, which is amazing. But if they shed, oh my goodness, I can't imagine how that must feel like. You just like, I just cleaned up all the shedding. It's almost like twice a day probably kind of thing. Because I've been around shedding dogs and I'm like, whoa, I'm just petting him. And he's like shedding like a crazy man. And they say that brushing helps, but doesn't like relieve the shedding. Lauren says my mental health. Brittany also says children. Nichelle says relationships. Laura says husbands with a laughing emoji. Lorraine says mind management. Ain't that the truth, girlfriend? My bank account. Yes, we're always having to make deposits. And then there's always withdrawals. It's like constantly withdrawals. I look at my bank account. I'm like, oh my goodness, that we need, for that, we owe for that, we owe for that. And it's just constant in, out, in, out, in, out. Liz says pets, the ones that were supposed to be the children's pets. Isn't that the truth? Sharon says the kitchen. Justin says my skin. Kat says animals. Patricia says my skin. Rachel says my dogs. And then I answered my own question. I said getting 10K steps a day. And I'm trying to get more, but getting more than that? Whoa. So I just want you to think about it as a Ferris wheel versus a treadmill. And so you won't feel so exhausted, because think about the dishwasher and think about dishes. We use them, put them in the sink. Sometimes we rinse them, put them in the dishwasher. Sometimes we just let them stack up in the sink and then put them in the dishwasher. Then we get them out of the kids' rooms. Then we get them out around the house. We put them in the dishwasher. We usually run the dishwasher every night. So when we wake up, there's clean dishes, but we're already using dishes for breakfast and lunch and dinner. What I've been doing lately, which has been a little time hack, is I've been using dishes out of the dishwasher. Like, I'm about to go make Grady some lunch. And so instead of pulling out a new plate and glass, I'm going to pull it out of the dishwasher. Kind of like my clothes. I wash them so often. And a lot of times I just pull from the pile versus hanging them up. So that's another reason why laundry every day is so good, because then you could literally just live out of your pile instead of putting it away, or just putting away half and then living out of the other half. Anyway, let me know what you think about these ideas. Hopefully these will give you more ideas to give you more harmony in your home, and you're able to teach them to your kids and get off the treadmill of the exhausting chore cycle and head on to the Ferris wheel cycle. So it doesn't feel like so exhausting and so much pressure. And there's not so much character assassination going on if all the chores aren't done, because guess what? They can never all be done at the same time, and they never will be, and they can't be for me, for you, or for your great-grandpappy. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Hey mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level, and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.